Hi guys, it's Angie with Fun Endeavors Tie-Dye Lab. Today let's make a spiral shirt. I prepped the shirt like normal and I have it turned inside out. Today I'm going to start the spiral down in the lower portion of the shirt. Since I have it turned inside out, it's important to remember that wherever I start the spiral, it's going to be on the opposite side once the shirt is turned right side out. So I'm starting it on the right hand side, so when the spiral is finished, it's actually going to be on the left hand side of the shirt. I'm using a pair of rubber coated locking tweezers to start the spiral. There's a link down below in the description for where I purchased the tweezers. Then once I have the shirt spiraled, I'm going to hold the folds in place with some rubber bands. Before I begin applying the dye, I'm going to use a washable marker and draw myself some guidelines on the shirt. I'm going to divide the shirt into 4 sections, and each one of the lines I'm going to go through the center of the spiral. The reason for doing that is so that all of the colors originate from that same center point. I'm going to continue my guidelines onto the back side of the shirt as well. Okay, so now it's time to start applying the dye. The first color that I'm going to use is Deep Ocean, which is kind of a turquoise type color. For this shirt, I'm going to use some Dyespin dye colors. If you're not familiar with Dyespin, it's a dye company out of Missouri, and I really like their dyes. I ordered a few of their dye colors a few months ago, and I think their colors are beautiful. One of my favorite things about the company is the fact that they place the instructions for mixing their dye right on top of the jar. So you don't have to use any kind of guesswork or any formula. All you have to do is look on the jar for each color and it shows exactly how to mix that color to match the color swatches on their website. So I want to leave some white on the shirt. Not a whole lot of white, but I do want a little bit of white left and showing through. So I am going to leave 2 of the sections on the front side and 2 of the sections on the back side white. I'm not expecting those entire sections to remain white because I know that some of the dye is going to creep over into those areas. If you'll notice, the dye that I'm adding, the Deep Ocean, is moving over into those areas just a little bit, but not real bad. A lot of times if the shirt is too dry, the dye will try to move over into a drier area. So if you will add a liquid like just water over into that area, that will help keep the dye from moving too far. Like I said, right now the dye is not moving a whole lot, but let me go ahead and add some water and show you kind of what happens. I've just placed plain tap water inside of a dye bottle, and I'm going to add it to the 2 areas that I'd like to remain white. So when I started adding the water, I did go ahead and overlap it into the blue just a little bit. And when I did that, it did kind of force some of that blue from the Deep Ocean over into that white area. It kind of pulled some of that blue over. So before I added the water, the blue was kind of staying in its borders pretty well. But now you can see that it's really kind of wicking and channeling over into that white space. The next color that I'm going to use on the front side is English Violet. And you can see when I get to that border where I added the water, those wet areas are already pulling the English Violet over. So there's a fine line in there. If your shirt is too dry, it's going to wick that dye over into the white space. But if you add too much water like I did to this shirt, the water is also going to kind of promote that dye moving over to that direction. There's a balance in there, and you have to find that if you want to leave a really large white space. Instead of adding just plain water like I did, you can add thickened water, which is basically just tap water that you use a little bit of sodium alginate in to thicken up the water. So even though my dye is moving outside of its borders, it hasn't totally saturated halfway through the shirt. I'm adding a different color on the back side, so I really only want the dye on this side to go about halfway through. So on the back side of the shirt, I'm going to use pure magenta in the same area where I used the deep ocean. After I add pure magenta, I'm going to add water to these sections again. I know it didn't really work too well on the front side of the shirt, but I want the shirt to at least look symmetrical, so I'm going to go ahead and do the same thing to the back of the shirt. What it's going to do, since the dye is channeling over into those white areas, is it's going to make the line between the colors and the white less severe. It's just going to kind of blend the colors into the white space. So that'll be a cool look too, I think. In the final section, I'm going to add Evensong, which is a darker blue color. Periodically, I'm checking my folds just to make sure that the dye has gone at least halfway through the shirt. Okay, so this is what the shirt looked like when I went ahead and put it aside to allow it to process. As you can tell, most of the white area has been filled in by dye moving over into that space. So I'm a little curious to see if we have any white left on the shirt. I think we'll have a little bit, but not an entire half of the shirt left white. So I set the shirt aside and I allowed it to process for at least 24 hours before I started rinsing it. Then, since I do have some white left on the shirt, when I went to rinse the shirt, I held it in my hands instead of laying it down inside of my sink. I'm going to hold it at least until I rinse it in cold water really well to rinse out any of the soda ash. Once all the soda ash is rinsed out of the shirt, it's not as likely that any of the excess dye that gets rinsed out of the shirt is going to rebond with the fabric. Just simply because the dye needs soda ash and that higher pH to actually bond with the fabric. So if I've gone ahead and rinsed out the soda ash, I should have lowered the pH, which will make it harder for the dye to actually bond with this fabric. That's why I begin rinsing in cold water to rinse out the soda ash. Then once I feel like the soda ash is fully rinsed from the shirt, I'll go ahead and warm the water up to hot to flush out any of the excess dye that's remaining in the shirt. If I initially start rinsing in hot water, it's going to flush the excess dye out of the shirt, but because the soda ash is still in the shirt, the heat from the hot water and the higher pH from the soda ash can go ahead and bond that excess dye to the fabric. That's what I don't want. So like I said, I'm going to go ahead and rinse in the cold, then warm the water up to hot. And then at this point, if I still have a lot of dye coming out of the shirt, like I did with this one, I went ahead and soaked the shirt. So I ran some really hot water in my utility sink. And then I added a splash of Blue Dawn dish detergent. The Blue Dawn is a pH neutral dish detergent, So what it will do is it will help neutralize the water so that any of the excess dye that is soaked out of the shirt won't redeposit back onto the shirt. I continue the soaking process, changing out the water as it cools off, and I continue this until the water is almost clear. Then I put the shirt along with some Dyespin textile detergent into my washing machine, and I wash it using a hot water cycle. The Dyespin textile detergent works very much like the Blue Dawn. It's pH neutral, and it helps keep any of the excess dye that is washed out during the wash process from redepositing onto the shirt. So then after the shirt was washed and dried, this is what it looks like. So what do you guys think? So I did end up with some white left on the shirt, but obviously I left half of the shirt white and I didn't end up with half of the shirt actually being white. But I do like the effect of how the water wicked the dye over gently. So it kind of gradually flows into the white area. It's not a real abrupt white space. And I do like that effect. But on this shirt, adding the water actually increased the dye movement across into the white area. I think I would have had a lot more white left on this shirt if I would have just left it alone. Because the shirt was slightly damp when I started applying the dye was staying pretty much where I put it. I mean, it was creeping over a little bit, but once I started adding the water, it really promoted the dye moving over into that white area. I do like the colors though. I think the colors remind me of a candy lollipop for some reason. So that's what I'm calling this shirt. I'm calling it my lollipop spiral. Something about the way it spirals and the placement and the colors, that is the very first thing that came to my mind when I took this one out of the dryer. I thought, that looks like a lollipop. So that's what I'm calling this one. So I really like this shirt. Even though it didn't turn out exactly the way I planned, I still think it's a really pretty shirt. But what's your opinion? Drop me a comment down below and let me know. And I sure would appreciate it if you would like the video and subscribe to my YouTube channel. Thank you all for watching, and I hope you have a great day.